So starting on your back, have your feet to the ground so your knees are bent. So just lengthen your spine into the ground, shuffle the shoulder blades down your back. Just give the knees a gentle rock side to side, just to begin with, just to kind of loosen up through the back. That's it. And then wriggle the feet nice and close together. So you can open the knees just to flop out to the sides, the soles of the feet have met. Of your knees going side to side a little while, if that feels good. Or just holding in stillness, if that feels good. And begin to really slow down your breath. Allow some weight to come into your exhalations. You feel like you're dropping your physical body into the ground, dropping your energy into the floor. Allow the breath to move through the nose, but feel it in the throat. So you create that slight audible tone to the breath, just softly, nothing too strong or powerful, but just enough so that you can hear that flow of your breath. Acknowledging it move like waves moving through the body, like the tide. Taking about 5 more breaths here. You can feel each time you exhale, there comes a sense of release a little bit further, sense of letting go around the hips. Just slide the arms out to the sides of you. So the arms come into a cactus position. Elbows are in line with shoulders, and then just fold the forearms back. Turning the head from one side to the other, rolling the back of the head. Stretch the fingers open so the fingernails are in the floor. As you turn your head, say to the left, try and press down a little bit stronger through that right arm, and vice versa. So the head comes to the right and you press down through the left hand. Keep that going. So maybe feeling a little bit of stretch or opening around the neck or the chest, the shoulder, just exploring where you feel that. And then keeping the head center, just lengthen the arms out a little bit longer so they feel really relaxed into the floor. Take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, draw the abdominals down as you close your left knee on top of the right one. So you just bring a soft twist through the body. You can adjust to the positioning of your legs or your arms as you need to, but try to keep that left shoulder rooted to the floor. If you can, lengthen further out through that left hand, as though you're trying to reach over towards that left side of the room. Out to the side with that Anthony, round a little bit further towards your shoulder. That's it, good. Turn your head to look at that left palm. Just allow the breath to move softly into the abdominals, into the back, listening out for that wave-like sound of your breath. staying where you are, take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, softly bring the knees through that center point again. And we're just going to change sides with that rotation. So close the right knee on top of the left one. And again, maybe you just need to adjust your hips or your legs to find a position they can rest in for a few breaths. Think about that right shoulder staying rooted, or the shoulder blade sliding down the back of the ribs to enable the head to turn to look at it. Maybe that right arm can just reach out that little bit further away. Feel the breath move through the abdomen. The diaphragm is then just gently massaging around the organs, connecting that into the rotation of your spine. Stay where you are, take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, bring the knees back to the center again. And scoop the legs in towards your body, so the hands come around either the shins or the back of the thighs, just hugging the thighs in towards the body nice and close. And just take a little rock side to side. So again, you just kind of massage your back into the floor, just dropping the weight of your body down. And just holding here. So if you bring the hands either, as I say, around the shins or the thighs, and then just pull the knees in towards your torso a little bit closer. Just kind of get that compression of thighs against the belly. Allow the tailbone to feel like it's trying to curl up off the floor. If you can, hug the arms around the shins or the knees so that you can hold on to your alternate elbows if you can reach, or hold on to your forearms. You're kind of giving your legs a hug. Yeah. You breathe really fully into the belly. You might, after a few breaths, start to get a little bit of gurgling or rolling of the sensations through the organs. So keep this right leg with you. Just allow the left foot to come to the floor and gently slide it away as far as it feels good to go. If it comes out straight, then wonderful. But if you'd rather keep a bend in that left knee, then that's fine too. So use your right hand to grab the outer edge of this right foot. So you're holding onto the little toe blade edge. Right hand against the foot, so same hand as foot. Then lift the sole of the foot upwards towards the ceiling. So Anthony, switch hands. So you're using the right hand with the right foot. Anthony, use the other hand, honey. The right hand with right foot, that's it, yeah. Flex the foot, so push up through that right heel. And then like you're coming into a lizard pose, if that makes sense to you, if you bring your elbow towards the inside of the knee and think knee opening out, so you kind of just swapped the position of your arm and your leg. Yeah, so then use your elbow to push the knee a little bit further open. Use your fingers to pull the foot a little bit further down, as though you're trying to get your knee in line with your right shoulder. Pulling down. Keep really extending out through that left leg as well if you can. Good, perfect. Relaxing into it. Just see where you can soften into. Maybe there's some tension creeping in around the neck, the shoulders. So from here, you're going to pass your right foot into your left hand. So just switching hands. Let the right arm just relax down to the side. Now bring that heel, keep the foot flexed, but bring the heel across towards the left. Think about that knee trying to open away from you. So you can use your right hand to push it out, like you're in an upside down pigeon pose. But keep that heel lengthening over towards the left. Try to keep the right side of your pelvis on the ground. So try to pull the right side of your bum down, yeah. And keep enough bend of that floating leg so that the shin is parallel with the floor or the ceiling. So take the knee away from you and the ankle towards that left shoulder. So you're hinging the hip open. Yeah. And then keep it traveling over until you feel quite an acute stretch in the sort of outer side of your right hip. That's your piriformis, around right through the hip socket. It will probably feel like you get that stretch when your knee is somewhere over your heart center. Should be about the place that you feel it. So keep lengthening that leg over towards the left until you can feel that little squeeze of stretch. Now, if you want to add into that stretch, take your right thumb, bring it into the fold of the hip between the hip bone and your thigh, and then just pull the flesh of the hip open. You get your thumb right into that crease of the hip where your hip bone meets the thigh. And then just drag the flesh outwards. That's it. That doesn't make sense. Don't worry about that. Gently bring that leg back center. And then slide the left leg in to meet the body. We're just going to take that over to the other side. So just take a moment at center with both legs in towards you. Take a little rock side to side again. So keep the left shin with you. Just place your right foot to the floor. And again, if it feels right to lengthen it all the way out, then do. Or keep a bend in the knee if it feels more comfortable. Bring your left hand to take the left foot on the blade edge of the foot, that little toe edge, and then lift the sole of the foot up to face the ceiling. Come into that half happy baby. So the elbow is just going to hop to the inside of the knee. Use the elbow to push the knee open and use your fingers to encourage the knee down. Soften out through the shoulders. Soften the jaw. Just find a place that feels good to hold and breathe. Last couple of breaths where you are. And gently bring that heel into your right hand. So taking that sort of upside down pigeon pose. Reach the heel over towards the right side of your room until your knee is somewhere over the heart center. Yeah, perfect. And again, if you want to add into that, if it gave you more benefit to it, then take your left thumb, so that you're doing a thumbs up, a thumb sticks into the wedge of your hip between the hip bone and the thigh, and then just pull the flesh of the hip further open or outwards. So it gives a little bit more room for that reaching across. See if your right elbow can just rest into the floor if it isn't already, just to kind of soften the shoulders into it. Yeah. And softly bring that leg back to the center. Just take the foot to the floor. Lengthen both legs out straight and then reach the arms back behind you. So just go nice and long through the body. Have a little roll out of your ankles, of your wrists, like you're taking a big morning stretch. Have a little wriggle into it, or a yawn, or a sigh. Scoop your right leg back in towards you again. And again, the hands are going to come around the back of the thigh. Lengthen the heel towards the ceiling, but keep a little bend into this right knee. So your thigh comes closer towards your torso, then push the heel up from there. Curl the big toe back towards you, so you feel the heel is almost higher than your toes are. And just check that your knee is facing towards the right side of your chest and not facing towards the left side of your chest. So sometimes that thigh wants to rotate a little bit to find its kind of comfortable position. We want to stretch in a real parallel alignment here. If you notice that the ankle or the calf is feeling tight, then please feel free to keep some movement, either rolling the ankle or swaying the leg very gently. Deepen or refocus into that movement of the breath. See where you can feel a little bit more release or a little bit more space with each breath that you take. Last few breaths here. So even if you're not feeling particularly deep into that hamstring, there's a great posture just to drain fluid, get the circulation going. The feet elevated is really healthy for our body occasionally. So from here, we're going to let this right leg open out towards the right, so we get into the inner thigh. So you can use your arms, your hands, however feels helpful. I quite like to have my right elbow against the ground, so my leg can rest into the palm. So my palm is kind of a shelf for the leg to rest into. So you can try that. If you're a little bit more mobile, I can reach out for the heel or the ankle to get a deeper stretch. So going out to the side, that's it. So, but support the leg so that we can stay here for a few breaths. Perfect, you might find the floor there too. Just make sure you're feeling the stretch around that right inner thigh. Good, so shimmy those toes towards the shoulder if you need to. Take the last couple of breaths where you are. And slowly bend this knee. So you bring this leg back in towards your body. Just give it a little wriggle out or realign yourself in any way you need to. Bring both feet to the floor. Before we switch sides, we're going to stretch out this right quads as well. So take the feet open about as wide as your mat is and bring the heels as close up towards your torso as you can. So the feet are wide but close towards you. Drop both knees just to flop down towards the left. So your right hand can now grab hold of that right foot and tuck the heel around towards the buttock a little bit further. So ideally, we have the heel against the right buttock, and you're lying on top of the foot. So you're kind of on the shoelace bit of that right foot. So Anthony, grab the right ankle and then bring it around to the outside of the hip. Yeah, that's it. And then reach your knee forwards and down. Try to reach that right knee towards the ground. Relax the legs to the floor, just let them go floppy. Yes, that's it, that's it. Keep going in that direction. Good. So to deepen, so hopefully you're feeling a stretch around the right thigh. As you exhale, imagine you're trying to tuck the tailbone or bring the lower back a little bit closer to the floor. If you get any pinching through the knee here, just miss this one out. Just come into the twist or something instead. Just take a deep breath in where you are. And as you exhale, draw the abdominals down, lift the knees back up to the center, and just stretch out that right leg just to release the knee from that fold. Bring both feet back to the ground. And bring your left leg in for hamstring release. So interlace the hands around the back of the thigh and extend the heel towards the ceiling. But straighten your right leg out against the ground if it feels comfortable too, or as far as it does feel good to go. So remember with this, you can keep a bend into this left knee so that your thigh is coming towards the torso. Press the heel up towards the ceiling until you feel that stretch around the back of the thigh. So Anthony, we're going to have the left leg up in the air. Just get up like that's it, good. And then straighten the right leg out along the floor. Perfect. And hold here just for a few breaths. So again, if you want to roll the ankle a little bit or sway the leg a little, please feel free to bring any movement in. Otherwise, holding stillness if that feels good, and feel the movement of your breath. Maybe noticing the sensations of that circulation coming through. So maybe coming through as a sort of lightness in the foot, or a little bit of tingling, or cooling of the foot. So from here, we're going to come into that inner thigh stretch. So the leg is going to open out towards the left. And again, you can use your left hand or left arm to support the leg however feels best. But do make sure it's somewhere that you are supporting it, so it's not tensing up to hold it anywhere. Also feeling the point where you get the stretch coming through that inner thigh. And nice and long through the right leg. Still feeding that breath into the lower space of the abdomen, the side ribs, the back ribs. Getting that full intra-abdominal pressure from your breath. Staying where you are, take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, bring the leg back to the center, bend the knee, place that foot to the ground. Bend the right knee, so the right foot is also to the ground. We come into that quad stretch for the left thigh. So again, bring the heels close towards your torso, but open the feet wide. Drop both knees over to the right, so your left hand can grab the foot and tuck it around behind the buttock. Perfect. Reach that left knee forwards and down. Trying to lie again on top of that foot. Think very slightly, trying to tuck the tailbone, so bring that lower back almost towards the floor, just a nudge. And then deepen into the breath. Stay where you are, take a full breath in. And as you exhale, gently bring that knee back up to the center. And just again, straighten the leg out just to release the knee. Bring both knees in towards your chest. Take a gentle rock side to side. And then roll yourself over to one side and press yourself around so you come into an all fours position. Whichever way feels good together. Just stretch the fingers open into the floor and then just paddle through your hands a little bit. So keep the fingers flat, but just lift one palm up and then the other palm up. So you stretch out your fingers to get the fingers to the ground. Just kind of lift the wrist up and see if you stretch the fingers against the mat. Yeah, that's it. From here, we're going to come into a twist. So gently slide the right arm underneath the left armpit as far as it'll reach. Bring your head to the ground, the shoulder to the ground, like you're listening into the floor. So if you feel a little bit hunched into it at all, then you can always just lengthen yourself out a little bit longer to see if that gives you more room to kind of breathe. Find a place where your head can just be soft to the ground, so the neck is relaxed. And either lightly press through this left hand that you're looking at, so that top shoulder lifts, or try interlacing the hands together, so like you're holding your own hand, and then push the hands away from you, so you have something to almost press back against the hands. Of course, the other variation is you take the left arm to wrap around behind your back, so whichever way feels good. Taking about 3 to 5 more breaths where you are. Try to feel the breath really move into the back of your rib cage on this one. Get that good back stretch through the twist. So just very gently unlace your fingers from each other if you're holding hands, or bring yourself out. So the left palm comes to the ground, and take your time to unravel your body. This time both arms are going to reach out in front of you. So you come through a puppy stretch. So both arms forwards and the forehead comes through the arms to rest on the floor. Try to keep the elbows lifted, but think about your armpits coming towards the ground. The tailbone is fully lifted, so come right forwards through the shoulders. Your tailbone is sticking up high into the air. Your thigh is almost in a straight line dropping down from hip to knee. Yes, perfect. Each time you exhale, imagine the heart center melting towards the floor. On your next exhale, press slightly through the hands. So you bring yourself up enough to slide the hands back under the shoulders into all fours. We come into the twist the other side. So your left arm is going to thread underneath the right armpit, bringing the left shoulder and your temple to the ground. Same variations apply. So you can either just keep the arms as they are, or clasp hands. So you push yourself away from that interlacing of the fingers, or wrapping the right arm around the lower back if that gives you more space. Find somewhere where the neck still feels relaxed. So you may need to adjust your underneath shoulder or get into the place you feel comfortable. Feel the breath move into the back ribs. Very slowly start to unravel or reverse the way that you came. Come straight back up into an all fours position this time. And then drop down onto your forearms. Now, if you're on a mat, you may want to turn long ways on your mat. So we're going to open the knees out a little bit wider. So you may want the padding to stay under your knees. If you're on the carpet, it doesn't matter which way you are. Perfect. So then take the knees out as wide as you can take the knees out, coming into a frog position. So you want your ankles to come out as far as your knees are. Good. Take out any feeling of back bend. So pull up through the lower abdominals a little. So you're not sinking into that puppy stretch here. Keep strong through the core. Now, when the knees are out as far as you feel they're able to go, and the ankles are then in line with your knees, press your hips back towards the heels an inch. That should kind of switch on the feeling of the stretch that you're wanting then. So Bernard, I promised you no straddle, but this is kind of the compromise for us, okay? Good stuff. Okay, really deepen into the breath. Relax into the neck. Using those exhales to continue the abdominals pulling towards the spine gently, just to keep out of that back bend. We have about 5 more slow breaths here. So gently bring your hips forwards, away from the heels. You soften out the body. Keep coming forwards until you're lying on your belly. The feet will lift up. Open the elbows wide, and then slide the legs back one at a time. So you are completely on your front with the legs lengthened back. So that takes a little bit of adjusting and get there however feels best. Just rest your head onto the back of the hands. Just let the body come flat to the ground and relax. Gently feel into the sensations of your breath coming into the abdomen, with that scooping up away from the floor. Notice if the movement of your breath therefore affects the movement of your spine or your back. Keep yourself on the right forearm here. Just sweep the left hand around behind you to grab hold of the left foot or the left ankle. So again, we're coming to quad stretch here. So bring that heel in towards the buttock and then press your hip bones in towards the floor. So it should give you a little bit of lengthening. For some people that's quite intense, for some people are not feeling that at all. If you want to add more into it, then place a cushion or something underneath your left knee or underneath the left thigh, so you gain more elevation there. Sometimes it's okay if you're not feeling a particularly deep stretch, but you're still lengthening the muscle. So you still do get some benefit from resting into this lengthening. So allow the rest of the body to soften. So you can either turn your head to one side to relax it down or rest onto the hand. From here, we're going to stay with this foot, but just take your hand to sweep over the top of the toes to hold onto the inner arch of the foot. Keep the knees together and then allow that little toe edge to come out towards the floor. So you'll feel if your arm is twisted, just hold the foot so the hand is resting into the arch of the foot. That's it. You can just put a bit of weight down into it. So Anthony, bring your hand to the other side of your foot. So you're holding onto the big toe side. Yeah. And then think little toe edge coming towards the floor. So your right hip bone will have lifted very slightly, which is okay. Think about just trying to root it towards the floor a little bit so the pelvis doesn't cheat you out of the rotation. This won't feel like a muscular stretch. It's just giving that piriformis and the hip socket a different kind of rotation and different kind of space. Trying to bring the foot back center and then lengthen that leg away. So reach it out as far as it'll go and place it to the floor. Switch sides of that quad stretch. So bring the left forearm around to support the head and the right hand is going to reach back for the right foot. Keep the knees close together if we can. And then press the hip bones in towards the floor. So again, sometimes this feels pretty intense, sometimes this feels like nothing at all. Just trust that there's some lengthening. The rest of your body is against the ground. Enjoy that feeling of rest. And then bring the hand to hold on to the big toe side of the foot and allow the little toe to drop out towards the side. Again, notice that left hip bone will have lifted slightly. Just encourage it to come down towards the ground. It doesn't have to stay fully rooted. Just try and focus the rotation into that right hip socket. And very gently bring the leg back center and lengthen the foot away. Slide both hands to come under the shoulders and then pressing through the palms, lift yourself to all fours and fold it back into your child's pose. The hips come all the way back towards the heels. Just coming into child's pose. You can take the knees slightly wider than the body if that helps you breathe a little bit more fully. Bring yourself back up into all fours again and place your right hand either on top of the left hand or just to the outer side of it. Then reach your hips back into that child's pose again, coming towards your right heel. So you're just lengthening slightly further around that side line of the right. Gently bring yourself back up to all fours. Just switching side to that. So bring your left hand either on top of the right one or just a bit further beyond it. And then sink the hips back towards your left heel. Feel the opening around that left side of the torso, left side of the back. Feel the breath move into that left side of the ribs. And gently bring it back up into all fours once again. So tuck the toes underneath you. Just lift the hips up to a really soft downward facing dog. So keep a bend into the knees. Just pressing the floor away through the arms. Again, just enjoying a few moments of an inversion, just to get that flush of blood around the body, circulation. Give the feet a bit of a paddle or the hips a wiggle if it feels good to bring some movement into it. The heels to draw down towards the floor, getting that deeper stretch through the backs of the legs. Take a couple of really deep breaths. So your exhales come out through the mouth, like you're sighing the breath out. We're going to just slide the right leg forward. So you come into a pigeon stretch on this right side. So the knee's going to come down behind the right wrist, the foot towards the left. Perfect, and send the back leg away. Just walk the hands forwards, but stay upright in the pigeon just for a few breaths. So keep the arms in front of you so you're not back bending too much, but we're still keeping the torso kind of upright. Allow the head to soften in or the shoulders to just sink down your back a little bit further. And slowly from here, walk the hands across towards the right side of your mat so that your torso is over this front knee. Then lengthen the arms forward. So you start to lie down onto that right leg and allow the head to hang softly towards the floor or rest into the ground or onto your hands. Find that restorative feeling through. Gently bring the torso a little bit further upright again. And walk the hands now so keep the legs as they are, but the arms come over towards the left. Again, lengthen the arms away. Try to lie down into it. You can rest your head onto an arm if that feels good, or onto a hand. And gently start to bring the hands back in again. So just arms upright, bring the body center. And take your time, either come to all fours or back into your downward dog, or a little bit of both, just to kind of reset, have a stretch out, have a wriggle. Again, wherever you are, take a couple of deeper breaths. So the exhales sigh through the mouth. And then when you're ready, bring the left leg forwards into pigeon. Send the back leg away. So staying upright at the center to begin with, just have the hands forwards so you're not back bending, but just keeping the body propped upright. Soften the shoulders down your back, relax the neck. You can allow the head to just roll side to side, add in a little bonus neck stretch. Take the hands over towards the left, so the torso is above the front knee, and then walk the arms out, so start to lie down onto that left leg. You can alter the arms as you need to. Gently begin to bring the hands back in, and then walk the hands and the body over towards the right. And again, lying down. Lengthen the arms away or place them under the head. Refocus the mind, refocus the breath. And slowly begin to bring the body back center. Again, lifting upright. Take your time to come back through all fours and into a downward dog once again. Just to paddle out, stretch out the legs, stretch out the hips. And roll the body forwards. You're going to come either back to all fours. We're going to bring ourselves all the way down onto your front again. So just let the body gently come down. And after all the folding, just coming into a gentle cobra. So lengthen the toes away, the arms slightly further forwards than usual. So you can get a really soft, again, like you're propping yourself up onto the arms, lifting the chest, soften the shoulders. And exhale, roll the chest back to the ground. Take that once more. Inhale to roll the chest up, lengthen the arms. And exhale, roll the chest to the floor. And from here, just roll yourself over onto your back. So just slide one arm under and come onto the back. Just reset yourself. So the feet are to the floor. So wriggle yourself in. Just lengthen the spine into the floor and tuck the shoulder blades down your back again. And the lower spine nice and long. Take the feet open about as wide as your mat, or just wider than your torso, and drop the knees in to rest onto each other. Place the fingers onto the lower abdomen, just between sort of hip bones and pubic bone. Try to encourage the breath to move right down into that lower space of the torso. Now focusing into the breath. Take your time with the breath. So I want you to count the exhalations you take from 1 to 10. If you lose count, don't worry, just start it again at 1. If you reach 10, start again at 1. There is no aim, there is no winner, there is no race. It is just a concentration exercise. So I'll guide you through the first 3. So take an inhale. Exhale is 1. Inhale. Exhale is 2. Inhale. Exhale is 3. Continue to 10. Wherever you are in your count, just let the number go. If you'd lost the count, don't worry about it. Take a couple of deeper breaths so you feel a little bit of energy just start to flush into the body. Give your wrists a little roll around, separate the knees apart from each other, give the knees a gentle rock side to side. Roll yourself over to one side and just take a moment there. And use your hands to gently press yourself up to seated, coming into any comfortable seated posture. Just allow the hands to rest on the legs and the eyes to remain closed. I'll just invite you to close your practice this evening, bringing to mind one thing that you can feel grateful for today. Acknowledge one thing that you like about yourself today. And recognize how getting to a yoga practice has served you in some way today. And close that to the heart center as the palms come together. Take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, bow the head to your hands. Thank you, guys. Namaste. Well done. Good stuff. Stretched out.
Thanks, Pippa.
Well done.
Yeah.